when you walk onto the school campus, like any other school, you have to go into the main office and sign in to get a visitor's pass. The neighborhood around is that it's surrounded by three other schools, one on the right and then two in the back. This is a uniform school, so students have to be wearing white, green, or blue shirt. They have to be wearing either blue or khaki pants. My host teacher, Mrs. Morales, was extremely professional. She always dressed nice and wore blazers at times. She wore a nice top and nice slacks. She only dressed down on Fridays, which I think everybody does. She was also very extremely supportive. I noticed something in the students that they were quiet in class, but they're very loud outside, and they do not pay attention to stuff. There was an incident once where the students had a sub, and the host teacher hardly gets mad at her students, but this was the day where I heard her yell for the first time after she heard what the students have done. A quote that I was able to get from my observation was when my host teacher, Mrs. Morales, talked about that there's going to be times when you're with your students and they get this aha moment that make you know that what you've done, all your hard work of this child was able to grasp this concept and be completed. That feeling will always remind you how you have the best job in the world, and it's one feeling that you'll never forget. And moving on to analysis and conclusions was that there was a time during their math session where I was able to see them use the mathematical practice of 4, which is model with mathematics. This was where they were able to use their Unifix cubes during their one of the math problems that they had. And during class discussion, I was able to see that the teacher picks either non-volunteers, which is when she uses popsicle sticks, or when she calls in a student because they raise their hand, which is regular volunteers. When doing research, students can look for the poster that they have just completed after the lesson, because most of the times they do this mathematical practice right after they've done a poster with a teacher. Something that I observed in my class was that they have classroom rules, and they have a behavior chart to see how your behavior was throughout the day. Either you're having a really good day or a really bad day. And it always changed. Every day was always different, and that's something I really liked. Other things I was able to see was that they had a rewrite board, which was the students were able to put the creative writing on there. And if there is either a teacher or, a parent walkthrough, students were able to show their parents their creative writing that was put on the wall, which is something very exciting. And they also had a similar wall, which was the science, where they were able to put how they wanted to be a scientist and why they wanted to do that. I think that was very good. The school has a very positive energy. The teachers really want their students, their first graders, to master first grade in order to move on to second grade. Something my host teacher did mention was that they don't know what they were taught in kinder, since they're not kindergarten teachers. But what their goal is to have them master first grade in order to move on to second. And they really encourage their students, especially the school, by having events at the end of the month where the students can celebrate all the hard work they did for that month. And they have little events. Either the cafeteria will host like a little game thing, or they'll just have like extra minutes to their recess time. And I think that the school makes a lot of accommodations to students in need of help. They get that extra help in intervention, or they have other sessions with the teacher if they weren't able to grasp that certain concept. And in the classroom, something that always helped was a period discussion, where at the end of each lesson, students were able to express how they felt about that certain unit that was just taught, or how they seen it, and they really just get to put like their ideas out there. And usually it's a 10-minute discussion that they have, 5 minutes if everybody knew what they were doing, but it was something that they were able to put out. I always saw that staff and everybody around the school was always very supportive with each other. They always encouraged each other, and they always helped each other. They were always there to give a hand. And I've never seen any individual or groups be excluded from anything. And I really think that this school was very diverse, but it was really hard to tell like a student's socioeconomic background due to it being a uniform school. Every student was wearing either the same thing, a blue, white, or green shirt, and then they were probably matching with the other classmate or something. But through experience, I was able to see that everybody followed the rules, was which the dress code, and it just made everyone feel equal and everything, because nobody was left out just because they were wearing a certain type of clothing. And I think that was really something great. And something that I was able to see and that very surprised me was all the hard work the teacher does. Sometimes it doesn't seem like they do a lot, but when I saw how much they put in for one day of teaching, it just really surprised me. And something that I really did like teaching was the conversations that I had with my teacher. She really helped me realize when it comes to teaching a diverse group, all you got to do is be that supportive machine that they might not have at home, and always make sure that whatever they do, even if they didn't do the problem right, always be there to encourage it. And I think that I'm very grateful and extremely happy that I was able to get this experience with this host school that I did.